Alrighty, folks, let's get started. Okay, let's try to keep this short and sharp. So, the purpose of the launch workshop, as I said in the introductory presentation, is just to get you really focused on what you need to prioritize in this business so that you can get to profitability as quickly as possible. So we're going to go through just a couple of aspects of the business which are fairly important for you to understand as brand new wealth engineers. 3 steps to fast wealth creation. So understand how to earn, understand the phone app, that's your tool, right? And then understand slow versus fast. This is to manage expectations. Some of us think we're going to be millionaires by the end of the year. Some think we're going to be millionaires next month. I'm going to give you a realistic expectation as to what activity leads to what results, just so that no one is left feeling unaccomplished or disappointed. I want you to understand that this business is about what you put in. You need to be able to see the results. If you're not happy with the results, you play around, you tinker, you check the results until you get better and better and better in what you're doing as wealth engineers. All right, so how to earn. So these are just the mechanics of how to earn. We very briefly in the intro presentation, you know that for every person that you connect to the business that pay for their product, you earn 55 Rand, right? So there's the table, 55 Rand on your first and second point, and then that breaks down into smaller percentages as the product gets further away from you. That is fairly simple to understand. Right, you will notice that we always talk about a qualified channel. So that's what I want to discuss with you. What is a qualified channel? Because we've got people in this business, like I said, we've got the one lady that joined us, we've got about 6,000 people in the business, but she doesn't earn anything, right? Because her channel isn't qualified. So what does that mean? Because that is obviously fairly important to understand because we don't want any disappointment in this business. So we've got 3 qualifying rules at DuePoint. Let me put this down. This is for you. If anyone wants to ask questions, you just put your hand up. I'll pass you the microphone. So we've got 3 qualifying rules in the business. These are rules that we ask ourselves before we pay any of the wealth engineers. The first one is, have you paid for your product? Right? So you have to be an active wealth engineer. Your product has to have been paid for that month for you to be active. So that's the first question. The second question is are you qualified? So to become a qualified wealth engineer, you have to have 3 people in your business who have paid for their product in the same month, right? Because we operate month to month. You can't have 1 person in 1 month and 2 people in the next month. That doesn't matter. Everything that we do is put into calendar months, right? So when I say you need 3 people who have paid for their product successfully, I'm talking about in the same month. Right, so here in the example, in the diagram, you can see there's you've paid for your product. That's the answer to number 1. The second question is, are you qualified? Do you have 3 product paying people in the same month? There you've got 3 wealth engineers. They've all paid for their product. That's called your first point. And there you've become a qualified wealth engineer. And now you are qualified. You are qualified to earn in this business. Now you're earning 55 Rand for every product, which means you're earning 165 Rand, right? Awesome start. Let me tell you, you want to set people's belief on fire, you pay them money into their bank accounts, right? Everything that I'm telling you is not only for you, it's for the people that you also connect into the business, right? This business is about duplication. So whatever I tell you, you need to then dispense the same information to people that you connect into the business. Why is that so important? Because, and this I speak from experience, you will connect people into the business. You will forget to tell them the qualifying rules. They will know from the intro presentation that Rob says we pay 55 Rand for every person. And now it's the end of the month, like today. So let's say we've got some new wealth engineers. They don't know the qualifying rules. And they go out this weekend and they connect 2 people. And they're so happy, 2 people. At least at the end of the month, they're going to earn 110 Rand. Are they going to earn the 110 Rand? No. Because you need 3 to qualify, right? And you forgot to tell them. And so at the end of the month, they're waiting for their 110 Rand. DuePoint doesn't pay them the 110 Rand. They go, I fell for those scammers again. Scamming business, stealing my money, right? And then they tell everyone in your channel, those people don't pay. DuePoint doesn't pay. They owed me money. All because you didn't tell them about the qualifying rules. This is the first thing you're going to tell anyone that joins your business is, I need to get you qualified. They're going to say, what is qualified? You're going to explain to them what qualified is, right? You want to get people to earn money. The moment they earn money, I promise you, their belief goes up. And when someone's belief goes up, they believe that they can have an effect. If they believe they can have an effect and start earning income, they start putting more effort into trying to earn more income, right? It's a very important principle. So now your channel is going to start growing from this point. So here we've got an example. One of the first pointers you put into the business went out and found 3 people. Wonderful. So that first pointer of yours got themselves qualified. You've now got product on your second point. And this introduces us to our third qualifying rule, the third and final qualifying rule, which says you need a qualified wealth engineer on your first point for every point that you want to unlock in your qualified channel. So if you want to earn on 2 points in your business, you need 2 qualified wealth engineers. If you want to earn on 3 points in your channel, you've got to have 3 qualified wealth engineers on your first point, so on and so forth. So you need a qualified wealth engineer for every point you want to open up. If you had a business that had 100 points, but you only had 1 qualified person on your first point, well, then you're only going to be earning money on your first point, right? So are we earning the 165 Rand sitting on that second point in this diagram? We aren't. How do we earn the money on the second point? We have to unlock the second point by finding a second qualified wealth engineer. So you go to one of the new people in your first point and you say, come, let's get you qualified as quickly as possible. Let's get you earning. They become qualified. They open up your second point, and now you're earning on your first and second point. And this is what we call a qualified channel. DuePoint only pays for qualified channels, right? And so your channel keeps growing. How irritating. Now you've got product on your third point, right? You're not earning on your third point. Why? Because you don't have 3 qualified wealth engineers. You only got 2. 2 qualified wealth engineers means you only earn on 2 points. So you need a third qualified wealth engineer. There you go. There's your third qualified wealth engineer. It qualifies your third point, and now you're earning on your full channel. And so the lesson is you have to not only connect people on your first point, you've got to get them qualified, right? And I distill this business down to those 2 fundamental activities. You don't have to know anything about the business. We can cancel the training right now. If you successfully only connected people and got every person that you connected qualified, you wouldn't need to know anything else about this business. You would have the perfect setup because your first point would keep up with the growth of your channel always. Right? One of our biggest wealth engineer teams is Patrick and Pumi. And they've got a lead wealth engineer. They've got someone above them, right? So Patrick and Pumi, I think their channel must be close to 10,000 people in their business. But they've got a lead wealth engineer above them. And guess how much that person earns every month? 0. They've never earned a cent from DuePoint. Why? They only have 1 wealth engineer. They've got Patrick and Pumi there. They don't even have a second or third person. Right? So, do you understand the principle? I've explained it in 5 minutes. You need to know this well enough that you can explain it to somebody else. If you can't explain it to somebody else, go over it again. Go onto our YouTube channel, go into tools on your mobile app. You'll see a video there. It's called How to Qualify. Go watch that 13 times. There's some principle. I learned this at school. If you don't understand something, you read it 13 times, you will understand it. It's easy. Life's so easy. So that is how to qualify. Have you paid for your product? Do you have at least 3 people paying for their product? And then have you got qualified wealth engineers to open up your qualified channel? Just those 3 rules. All right, the DuePoint app. So let's go through this. So, let me give you that. You can hold on to that. Speak close to the microphone so the people on the internet can hear you.
Yeah, I needed to find out the qualifying criteria, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the premium, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it needs to be in the same month,
yes.
Isn't it?
So everything is evaluated in the same month.
Yes. So now, let's just say my premium goes off in the first month.
Yeah.
But my other qualifying engineers or whatever, they pay their premium, let's just say the second month.
Yeah.
Or the
So
third
you're going
month.
to
Let's
pay
just say-
you're going to pay your premium every month.
Yeah, every month.
Every month.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm saying in terms of us,
Yeah.
the three of us,
Yeah.
or the three engineers,
Yeah.
for me to qualify, they pay maybe the second month or the third month.
Yes.
All in all, maybe
Yeah.
we pay these premiums on a
Okay.
third month.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
concurrently.
So,
now,
let's say you brought 3 guests with you today. That's
Yes.
month end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
3 guests, you brand new, but you got 3 guests, and they all joined. They went through the application form, but they set their debit orders. One set their debit order on Monday, which is the 1st of April. Another one set their debit order in the 1st of May, and the third one put their debit order at the end of May. You're not going to be qualified this month. You're not going to be qualified next month. When all 3 pay in the same month, that's when you become qualified. All right. Yeah, no problem. That's a common question. You can hold on to that because you're closer to everyone else. Okay, so you're free to take your phones out, open the mobile app. You can go through this with me. It'll be a lot easier for you to understand what we're going to be going through now. So open up your DuePoint app. The first thing you're probably going to be presented with once you log in, so you'll put your wealth engineer number and your password in, it'll log you in. The first screen that you're typically presented with is notices. These are messages from head office. They serve as reminders of what's happening in the business. They are prompts. If you want to close them, you just click on the little X there if you want to delete the message, right? Or you just click on back. That'll take you to the home screen. So very simple. These are notices. Be aware that they're links, right? So every day, every time we have a live intro presentation, you'll get sent a shortcut to the live intro presentation. You just click on it, and it'll open up your YouTube app, and you can watch it. It will open up a browser, and you can watch the live intro. You get your XP for that. You can share. There's a share button. This business is all about sharing, right? So use the share button, forward it to anyone else that you want to. Then you click on back. It'll take you to the home screen. So this is what the app's home screen looks like. This is your business page. This is explaining to you the numbers that are happening in your channel, right? So I'm going to go through all the little interactive bits. So everything that you can click on, we're going to go through that quickly. Do not be scared to click on buttons in the app. I know people are scared to click on buttons. You think you're going to break something, or suddenly you're going to sign up for 1,000 products and we're going to debit you a house bond at the end of the month. We can't do any of that, right? You can't do anything in the app that's going to break anything or jeopardize your position. So click on all the buttons, see what's happening, explore like you're 6 years old and you've got an iPhone for the first time, right? Don't be scared to learn by clicking. So the first thing at the top, your name will come up in the top left corner. You can click on your name. It'll bring up your profile. Then you've got your return. So that's how much money we are estimated to be paying you for that month. Who's asking a question? No? Oh, you're just chatting. Okay. And then you've got the rewards program. So the rewards program, it tells you what rank you're at and how far you are away from the next rank. You can click on that. It'll bring you up details about the rewards program. Then we're in the menu. So that's a little icon for the menu that'll present your menu. That's the heading of the page. So this tells you what page you're on. So it's telling you you're viewing data for this month. Then you've got a drop-down menu for your channel. If you click on that, it'll show you all the points in your channel. So we are looking currently at this month's qualified channel, right? So this month's qualified channel tells us we have had nearly 300 successful debit orders. That's great business. That has afforded us nearly 8,000 Rand in returns that we look forward to receiving at the end of the month. There are still 225 debit orders to happen on Monday morning, right? So we're waiting for those debit orders still to happen. So those are pending. Unfortunately, we've had nearly 200 debit orders fail in our qualified channel this month, right? So red, typically stuff in red is not good. It's not the end of the world, right? Don't become depressed. Any insurance business, any business in the country has got negative aspects that they have to deal with. That is business, right? But this is something that we can manage. So we always need to be aware of what this number is. If it gets too big, we have to start managing it a little more actively. So we've got a thing here called BPQ. BPQ tells you how bad this number is, right? If your BPQ is 100%, it means And we only look at your first and second point when we look at BPQ, because you don't really have control over anything beneath that. So BPQ is only a reflection of your first and second point. It is a ratio of successful debit orders in your business, right? So if your BPQ is sitting at 90%, it means 90% of your debit orders have been successful. That is a good ratio, right? So you look at someone like Donnie. Donnie's got one of the highest BPQs in the business. And then we've got some people that have 0% BPQs. That means every single person that they put in their business, every debit order failed, right? So certainly now you've got to look at that and go, oh my goodness, what is going on here? How do I fix this? So your BPQ, if it starts dropping below 75%, you need to start actively looking at improving that BPQ. And then we've got applications. So you've got 157 applications that you've done this month in your qualified channel, right? So that's great. And then we've got 152 lapses or cancellations in your qualified channel in the same month. So those are people that have been lapsed. In other words, if they failed their debit order twice in a row, we stop trying to debit order them. We lapse them. And then you've got other people that phone in and actively cancel their DuePoint membership or their product, right? So does that all make sense? Then at the bottom, so right at the bottom, I don't know if you'll see on the screen, but at the bottom, look at your app. We've got tabs. The first tab is channel. So we're on channel at the moment. You can jump to events. You can jump to rewards. So the rewards program breaks down the quests and all the rewards that are waiting for you. Then you've got a button called Add Wealth Engineer. That's a button you want to use as often as possible when you're connecting people to your first point. Click on Add Wealth Engineer. It brings up the application form. And then we've got tools. Tools is where all the training videos and some of the downloads sit, right? So click on the different tabs. You'll see all the different content there. All right, so more specifically, what I want to discuss is being able to look at your business. Especially as a new wealth engineer, you're going to have people joining your business. They're going to be landing on your first point. You want to see their names. You want to see what they're doing. You want to see how close they are to becoming qualified. You want to see if they paid their debit order or not, all right? So we are always interested in our first point. So if you want to look at your first point, you click on this button here, Qualified Channel. Boom, right? It shows you your whole channel. So this one goes up to 11 points. The blue points are your qualified channel. The red points are unqualified channel. And so it goes without saying that this person has how many qualified wealth engineers on their first point? 5, right? But they're missing out on income. They're missing out on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points here. So there's not too much money there, but you know, you want that money. That's over 300 Rand. That's about 350 Rand, 360 Rand that's sitting there that you're not earning because you don't have 11 qualified wealth engineers. But this person has got 5 qualified wealth engineers that has opened up this part of the channel. So that's your qualified channel there. You can click on any one of these points to get more detailed information on the points. But, you know, whether you can gain any knowledge value out of what's happening there, I don't know, because you don't have any control over it. What you've got control over is your first point. So,
Do you keep that in reserve until they qualify?
yes. Yes, no, that's in reserve. That's sitting there. The moment you get a qualified wealth engineer in that month, suddenly that will become blue. So throughout your month, that can change.
So what you are telling us, the red you can focus on and go and help them if you want to go so far down the channel.
Yes, so if in this month, so let's say it was the beginning of the month. Let's say it was the 1st of April. Let's say it's halfway through April, right? So lots of debit orders have happened, and I get to the middle of April and I go, jeepers, let me just check my first point. Because here I can see I'm losing out 281 Rand. How do I get it? I go look at my first point and I go, which wealth engineer is close to being qualified? So I might go look at my first point and go, this person's got 2 people. They only need 1 more, and then they become qualified. And if they do that, boom, suddenly that 0.6 will become blue, right? If that third person has paid in the same month. So this is my point. This is what we want to be discerning about, right? So if you click on point 1, it's going to bring up your first point. You see there? Now it says point 1, and look, the numbers have changed. I've got 20 people that have paid on the first point. I've got 4 people still waiting to pay, right? So these might be people that are qualified already. I'm just waiting for the debit orders to happen, right? And then I've got 1 failed debit order. I've got 1 new wealth engineer on my first point, and 1 of them have cancelled. I go, who's cancelled on my first point? How dare someone cancel on my first point? You can go look them up. their details will come up, their profile come up, you click on their name, the phone number will come up, you can call them immediately and say, what's going on? Did they throw you out or did you cancel? Right? You need to be able to manage your first point. This allows you to manage your first point. And so we can click on these different items. If you click on successful debits, it'll show you the 20 people who have paid their debit orders. If you click on pending debits, it'll show you the 4 people that still have to pay that month. Right? Okay. Does everyone understand how to look at their first point? So,
my other question would be, in terms of the engineers, right? Let's just say they paid. Let's just say the month of May, they've paid, all of us. And obviously you receive whatever amount. The next month after that, one engineer decides to default because of maybe you went into the account and you didn't find anything.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason. Then the next month after that, because of you gonna probably double deduct the money or
No,
whatever.
we never double deduct.
Oh, you never double deduct.
In short-term insurance, you can never double deduct. Let me give you a quick explanation of how the month rolls out as wealth engineers, because you're all wealth engineers, you're product owners. If your debit order doesn't go off successfully, right, for whatever reason, if you don't have funds in the account or you gave us the wrong account details, whatever the reason, if that debit order fails, we will immediately send you a SMS. The SMS will say your debit order has failed, and sometimes our systems can pick up whether it's what the issue is, and we'll say to you, you have got 15 days to remedy the problem. Right? So that's by law, by regulation. We have to give you 15 days to fix the problem so that you can get back into the investment or the insurance product without any jeopardy to your insurance. If you fail to do that, right? So if the person pays in the 15 days, no problem. It just carries on as normal. The debit becomes successful. Great. If they don't do anything in the 15 days, then they don't have product. They're not an active wealth engineer for that month. They're not insured, or their investment doesn't happen, or they don't have wealth points benefits. The next month, we will try debit them again on the debit order date. Right? If they fail again, they again get the 15 days grace to fix it. If they don't fix it, the third month, we don't debit them. For you as a lead wealth engineer, if you've got someone doing that on your first point, the implication will vary depending on how your channel looks. Let's say you've only got 3 people in your business. In April, they all pay. Wonderful, you earn your 165 Rand. In May, the one person doesn't pay. That has unqualified you. That means your 165 becomes 0 because you only have 2 wealth engineers, right? If it's someone on the second point, let's say you've got a business like this person, they've got 5 points or 6 points that they're being paid on, and there's one wealth engineer who has only got 3 people on their first point. And so one of those people don't pay, they become unqualified, it unchecks a whole point in your business. You see? So be aware of that. That's why I'm saying this is why we explain what this screen does in your first workshop, so that you're able to look at your channel and manage your channel. Right? So if that one person unqualifies a whole point, if we go back, that's worth 847 Rand. You phone that person immediately and you say, my friend, you've got someone on your first point that hasn't paid. They've become unqualified. You've become unqualified. You're not going to earn. How quickly can we find a new person that'll pay this month?
So in that 15 days grace period,
yeah.
let's just say they fix the debit order or something like that, then what does it...
it's got no effect on you. It'll come through as a successful debit. As long as it happens,
so
as long as it happens in the 15 days. If it's the month end, so let's say on Friday, right? Friday, the debit order fails. Even though it's month end, they still get 15 days to fix it, because we only pay the business on the 19th. So for March, right, we've got to wait for all those people at the end of the month to fix their failed debit orders. So we sit and we wait for 15 days at the end of the month. After the 15 days, we then reconcile our accounts. We look at everything. It takes us about 2 or 3 days, and generally we try to pay everyone on the 19th day of the following month. So for March's business, you will get paid on the 19th of April, because we have to wait for those 15 days. Makes sense for everybody? Okay. So you are always going to look at your first point. If you go back and you click on your name, I'm just going to show you this as a brand new person. You click on your name. What we want you to do is take a photo. So here's your profile. It'll come up. There's a little camera icon now next to this blank photo. Click on the camera icon. It'll bring up your photo, your camera on your phone. Take a selfie. We want you to take a selfie. We've got thousands of people joining this business, client service, and for us, it's very easy to go into our system, click on your name, and your photo comes up. Then we go, this guy, I see this guy all the time at head office. This is who it is, right? You will get 1,000 XP for doing your photo. That's what you need for rank 1. That's one of the criteria, 1,000 XP. It's going to take you 30 seconds to get 1,000 XP as a brand new wealth engineer. So go do that for yourself. Take the photo. If you click on events, so we mentioned that we're doing the Port Elizabeth encounter. Click on events, that tab right at the bottom of your phone. You'll see events. Click on events. You'll have an events gallery that comes up, or you'll have latest events that come up. You'll be able to register for the PE conference through that, right? Very straightforward. What's going on? Okay. Quests. So the quests are quite important. These are the little incentives that we run. So,
Rob, where in the app can you just at a glance see the total number of wealth engineers that you have in your channel?
the total number.
Yeah.
So the only
Whether they paid or not paid,
yeah.
the total number.
Yeah. So if you've got your app with you, if you click on qualified channel, all the points will roll out. There should be 2 numbers. There's actually 2 numbers on the app. There's the value of the point, and there's the number of products. So we only show you your qualified channel numbers. We don't show you 3 years worth of people that have come in and half have left. We don't show you that number. If you want that number, if there's any value in it, I don't think there's any value in it, but if you're really that inquisitive to know how many people have rolled through your business in the last few years, you can phone head office and we can tell you what the number is. Does that answer it? Okay. Quests. So our wealth quest, we've got a wealth quest that we run every month. That'll be in pink at the top, and then I think the 365 challenge is also there. So click on rewards at the bottom. See the tab rewards at the bottom? And then you can swipe. So if you want, swipe the other way. Other way, dare I say. Then you will see the ranks in the rewards program and what each rank affords you as a reward. All right. So just go play around. There's so much stuff. You can click on these things. It's going to open up all the T's and C's, etc. Play around on the phone, but the most important thing for you to do as a new wealth engineer is to know what's happening on your first point and what the people are doing on your first point, because you want to get them qualified and keep them qualified. Okay, let's discuss expectations, slow versus fast. So we've put up some numbers. They are activity-based numbers, so this will give you an idea. To be honest, if you see at the top here, it says half a person per month. So that's doing 1 person every 2 months. That's 1 a month, that's 2 a month, that's 3 a month, 4 a month, 5 a month on your first point. I honestly would not even look at, I don't even think that is accurate, because what we don't take into consideration here is if you're building this slowly, that your interest wanes. In other words, your interest disappears. If you're connecting 1 person every 2 months, I promise you, you're not going to persist with that. You're doing it when you feel like it. Circumstance will get the best of you. So let's not even look at those 2. If you're doing 2 people a month here, which means you're speaking to about between 10 and 20 people for 2 to join on your first point, the projection will take you to about 2,500 Rand after 6 months. So this is what our path to success follows, right? So we're all aware of those numbers. And they're good numbers. You have to be consistent. Because this business depends on exponential growth, the opposite is true. So we ran the numbers over 5 years, and what we find in our business is that people might grow at 2 people a month, but when it comes to November and December and January, they don't do anything, right? And they don't realize the cost of that. So we extrapolated the cost of that over 5 years. It reduces your income over a 5-year period by 70% if you do nothing for 3 months in the business. Why? Because the business relies on exponential growth. Remember? So don't take a month off. I always say to the wealth engineers, November, December, and January are the months we work the hardest in. All right. But from an expectation point of view, you know, you don't have to grow at 2 people a month. You could be someone that wants to grow at 5 people a month. It will increase your returns exponentially if you do that. The challenge is to put in 1 person a day in the 365 challenge. If you do that, there is over R1 million in benefit waiting for you in the space of 12 months. So that's something I would seriously consider doing. I would adjust my life considerably to speak to 5 people a day. If it meant that I could change my life that dramatically after the space of just 12 months, there's nothing in the country that offers you that. Nothing. Even in a lifetime. When is your boss going to give you a car? Never. Never. Right? It just doesn't happen. And so there's massive benefit in this business with so little risk. And so you need to look at these numbers and go, okay, let me be realistic about this. Another problem, and this is a psychological issue, is that we think we're doing more than what we're doing. I see it constantly. People will come and they say, oh, Rob, I don't know what's going on. Please, will you help me with my business? I go, no problem. You can come sit down with me. Anyone can come speak to me. When you started, not when you got no one in your channel, when you got people in your channel, you're experiencing real problems, you want help, you phone me, you come sit with me, or we'll live stream, we'll Skype together. I will help you with your business, right? And I get that all the time. People come sit down with me and they're complaining that, oh, the business isn't doing that. And then when we pull up the numbers, when I look at the numbers month to month, I say, you're not doing anything. How can you expect your business to do what you think it should be doing if you're not doing the basics? You're not even connecting people. I'll have people come sit with me. They haven't connected a person in 3 months. I'm like, that's the problem, right? The problem is not your channel. The problem is you. And so people often underestimate or they overestimate what they're actually doing every month. And so if anyone comes speaks to me, you will leave my office. We will end the discussion with you agreeing to keep a logbook of what you're doing. How many people keep logbooks of business or gym or whatever you try to achieve in life, right? You've got to track what you're doing so that you can see at the end of the month. I spoke to 30 people this month, 4 joined. That's great. I've got a 10% to a 12% ratio. You do the same thing next month, right? You do the same stuff. You can expect similar numbers. Then you change your strategy. You go, no, let me change my pitch. Let me see if it works. You speak to 30, suddenly 7 joined. You go, yes, this pitch works better. Then you adopt that strategy. This is how business is conducted, right? We are all in business now. This is not a hobby that we're doing. It's not for fun. This is business that we're conducting. Keep a logbook of what you're doing so that when you say, I want to be the person that's joining or connecting 5 people a month, that you're actually connecting 5 people a month, not in your head. We had a great testimony. One of the guys like 6'7", Nick. He was doing really well. He came up onto stage. In his first month, he was doing well. And him and his wife came onto stage and they had a little bit of laugh because he said in his first week, he came home and told his wife that he's spoken to everybody he knows. Everybody he knows. He's exhausted. He's exhausted. If this is what this business is going to be like, he doesn't know if he can carry on. So his wife said, okay, let's quickly write down who you spoke to. Turned out he spoke to 14 people. That was everyone, right? Do you see what his mind did? Keep a logbook, right? I spoke about, in a development seminar I did a couple of weeks ago, I spoke about the power of habits. We're all habitual human beings, right? We've got habits, good ones and bad ones. And a simple trick that you can do is just have a jar of marbles. There's some people that carry business cards in their pocket. If you don't get rid of 5 business cards a day, you know you haven't spoken to 5 people a day, right? So it's an easy way of viscerally tracking what you're doing. If it's marbles on your desk and you're doing calling, you make sure a marble for each call gets put into another jar. At the end of the day, if all the marbles are in the jar, you've done your job. And that's typically all you have to worry about in this business. It's just speaking to people. Don't worry about whether they say yes or no. Make sure you're doing the stuff you can control. And the only thing you can control is if you're knocking on doors or calling people or speaking to people. If it's 5 a day, that's your target because you've decided that you want to try to do 365 and you decided that you're going to speak to 5 people a day. Keep yourself accountable to just the 5 people a day. That's how it starts in this business, right? And so, simple thing, jar of marbles, 1 for every call. At the end of the day, I'm done. The marbles are in the other jar. Tomorrow we do the same thing, right? Simple things that'll help you. All right, 365 challenge. So we discussed this a little bit. You know, the challenge is to connect 365 people in the next 365 days. Go look at the T's and C's so that you understand the parameters of this challenge. We have been very lenient. The people that you connect to the business, we've only said that they only have to stay in for 2 months. The first 2 months, they have to be in to be considered, right? They don't have to stay in for 12 months. Just 2 months. Then they'll be considered as having been part of the 365 challenge. So just go check. It should be on your app. If you click on the rewards tab, you'll see 365 there. Click on the T's and C's. The 1.275 million benefit is broken down into the returns aspect. So that's what you're earning every single month, right? By the end of 12 months, once you've got the 365 people into your first point, you'll be close to 40 to 50,000 Rand a month in returns, statistically. At the same time, when you've done that amount of money, right, your channel will be to such an extent, well, it depends how you build. So if you find all 365 in the first month, you will have to wait for your channel to grow. They won't grow as quickly as you've grown, right? But if you do it over time, if you're doing the 30, 35 a month, then that growth will be a little more steady for you. So everyone will be different. But at the end of the period, you should be at about rank 12, 13, 14. You'll be in that area. That's where our 40, 50,000 Rand earners sit, right? Around rank 12 and above. That means you are looking forward to Mauritius in December. At the beginning of this month, we have finalized our plans for Mauritius. So we know where we're going. I know what we're doing. I won't tell you yet, but I can tell you it is better than the last 2 rank 9 trips. Way better. It's where Brendan got engaged. I'll give you some sneak information on the side. Brendan got engaged at this resort. It's probably one of the most beautiful resorts, one of the most luxurious resorts in Mauritius. And we've got some awesome activities planned, right? We've done that. And so if you've done 365, you know, you can go home, tell the family, guys, we're going rank 9 trip, Mauritius, pack your bags, leave your wallets behind, and bring your camera because we're going to make everyone jealous. Everyone that said no to us, right? You went and spoke to 5 people a day, 4 said no. Those people are going to be calling you back. I guarantee they will be calling you back because I see it happen, right? And you will have a brand new car that you're driving around with no debit order at the end of the month. So who's going to do this? But now because we're in business, this isn't a hobby. It's not a New Year's resolution. Because we're in business, you need to now make a plan. So what's your plan going to be? To speak to 5 to 10 people a day. And how do you keep yourself accountable to that plan? Because you can leave here and you can go, yes, I want to do that. I'm going to speak to 10 people a day. Sunday night, I forgot to speak to anyone. Right? So you have to employ some tricks. It's just tricks. Right? It's very hard to change your circumstance because we are in comfort zones that don't like change. Life tries to keep you where you are because it feels safe where you are. People around you want to keep you where you are because they feel safe if you are the same person they come to know, right? And so it's very difficult. You've got to push extra hard to change your circumstance. It's not just, I'm going to start developing.
People want to control one another.
Exactly.
Purely a method of controlling.
Yeah.
Because if the husband suddenly got the money, wife can't control anymore.
Yeah. Control for human beings, for all of us, control equals safety. It's, yes, it equals safety. Exactly, right? And so I'm going to tell you now that if you want to do this, it's not as simple as just, oh yes, I want to do this. I want to get the 1.2 million Rand in benefit. You have to go home today. Even now, you've got to think now. If I'm going to start this tomorrow, how am I actually going to speak to 5 people tomorrow? Think about it quickly. Is it going to be at church? Are you going to do it at a shopping center? Is it going to be 5 people that you phone that you know? Doesn't matter what it looks like, but decide now. Picture it in your mind so that you start planning already. Yeah.
The 365 channel,
Yeah.
the people you connect, do they have to be qualified or you can just...
No, they don't have to be qualified. So you're going to be building your first point only, right, in this challenge, right? Ideally, you want them to become qualified. They have to become qualified if you are going to get the full value of what we claim that you can build. No one's going to join your channel just because. They are often going to join because they want the product, they want the benefit of being able to build a business, right? And so they should go out. Statistically, you'll have probably only, so statistically, you're only going to have about 10% that do anything. So out of the 100% that join, only 10% do. Right? Don't be freaked out by that number. Expect that number. Right? Because that's just human nature. That's just human nature. All right. Then we've got, this is January's Wealth Quest, so this is completely out of date. We've got a Wealth Quest that's ending now, so don't worry about the Wealth Quest because it runs month to month, and you've only got 2 days left. Suffice to say, for people that have been busy during this month, you should be doing that Wealth Points incentive that we ran this month. But on Monday, on the 1st of April, in the morning, there will be a new Wealth Quest. So if you check your app, go to rewards, you'll see that pink WQ at the top. There will be a different one there, right? So that one, I'll give you a sneak peek. It's called Young Guns. The Young Guns incentive starts on Monday morning. You have to connect people under the age of 30, right? And that's only for business in April. So in April, if you can get people under the age of 30 to join your business, there is cash, extra cash incentive for you. All right, so be aware of the Wealth Quest. The Wealth Quest changes every single month. Okay, so what to do? Connect people to DuePoint. Never talk product. You're always talking business opportunity. Always talk wealth, the ability to create annuity income. It's very powerful, right? People don't understand that because very few people actually get to engage in true annuity-based income. Use the tools. So use the tools. We went over them now. We've got a YouTube channel, a wonderful YouTube channel. There's so much great training on that channel. You can go spend hours on YouTube. Become proficient in this business. Become an expert in this business. You do that on a YouTube channel. If you don't have Wi-Fi, that cannot be your excuse, because there's free Wi-Fi all over the country. Even if you have to sit on the side of the pavement by McDonald's or in your car, there's free Wi-Fi around the country. Watch the YouTube videos. We stream the intro presentations constantly. We've gone through the app. There's a lot in the app that you can still explore. Get started now. Do not wait. This is another psychological principle that I learned from Tony Robbins. Have you seen Tony Robbins? He's the big guy. He's got big teeth, big jaw, big guy, and he's a motivational speaker. He's a business consultant. He's a personal consultant. And before he goes up onto stage, so there's a wonderful documentary on him on Netflix. Before he goes on stage, he's got one of those round little trampolines. And he jumps on that trampoline before he goes on stage for like 10 minutes. And then he does these funny exercises with his voice. Because what he's doing is he's getting his mind into a heightened state, right? Because he wants his audience to get into a heightened state. Why? Because they've shown for people to change their circumstances, they only do it in a heightened state. When your state goes back to who you were before it was heightened, action doesn't follow, right? And so some people get nervous about it. I'm one of those people. When someone tries to get me into a heightened state, I step back and go, this is weird, right? But you've got to become a little more discerning around it. If you want change in your life, if you come to a business presentation like this, perhaps you get super excited. You think, oh my word, imagine I was earning 85,000 Rand a month and I had the car and I was in Mauritius with my family, and you get super excited, and then you think, they're trying to get me excited, so I join. And then you pull back, right? You have to, in your heightened state, become rational and go, okay, let's just look at this rationally. This is what they're offering. Are they scammers? They can't be scammers. They've been in business for 70 years. They're listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. They wouldn't risk trying to scam people with a business that has that foundation, right? So you go, okay, they're not scammers. What about these incentives? Maybe they don't pay their incentives. So you go speak to some other wealth engineers, right? You speak to any wealth engineer. They will tell you, if DuePoint owes you this amount of money, they will pay that amount of money. If they promise you a car, they get you the car. If it's the holiday and they say it's all expenses paid, it is all expenses paid. So you go, okay, so this 365 incentive looks like I can trust it, right? In your heightened state, you follow with action. So with your excitement, with your enthusiasm, you push out of your comfort zone and you go speak to 50 people tomorrow. Why not? Why not? Whose church has got less than 50 people in? All right. So be aware of that. Get started. That's why I say get started now. Don't wait a week. If someone says to you, I need to think about it, their heightened state diminishes and they go back to the safety of what they know. They won't join. All right, be aware of it. So get started now and push people to make a decision now. If there's a reason why they don't want to join, let them state the reason and you can answer if they have got any questions, right? Plug into DuePoint. So there's so many aspects you can plug into. We've got a Facebook page, we've got the YouTube page, we've got the website, we've got the app, we've got a head office. Plug into all of it. We're doing encounters around the country. We do training once a month. We've got Tell All Tuesday once a month. Plug into everything. Become part of this community. Because when you're part of a community, that's when you thrive. I always joke, we've got a lady, our financial manager, Stacy. She was a runner. And she went and bought a bicycle. I'm a big cyclist. And she started cycling. And her shift into the cycling community has turned her into a cycling crazy person. A crazy person. She wakes up at 10 to 4 every morning to go cycling around Joburg in the dark. She's willing to spend 80,000 Rand on a bicycle because it's the best bicycle and it's carbon and the pedals are 5 grams lighter than the pedals she's got now, right? Why does she think like that? Because she's entered a community where everyone finds that acceptable and they promote it. If you don't become plugged into DuePoint, if you're one of the people, you come now and then, you won't thrive. When you plug into the community, when everyone around you is chasing wealth, connecting people, trying to overcome fear of speaking to 10 people a day, when everyone's doing that together, you will thrive into whatever that achievement is that everyone's trying to achieve. And it's wealth creation here at DuePoint. So plug in. Become an expert at the app, watch all the training properly, marry DuePoint's calendar into your own. That's under the events page. There's the 3 things that you can do. Make sure that any new person downloads the app immediately. And that's it. Merchandise, very important. This is a picture of credibility, right? If I stand up here, you look at me, I'm a proponent of DuePoint, right? I've got my DuePoint business cards. I've got a DuePoint pin. I've got a DuePoint pen on my desk. I've got a DuePoint notepad. When people come speak to me, they know I'm DuePoint, that I believe in DuePoint, that I'm a proponent of DuePoint. You've got to do the same. You've got to do the same. If you've got nothing, people don't take you that seriously, right? And you will know that even though we say there's no selling involved, you are still trying to sell the business. You are trying to sell the dream. You are trying to sell trust in DuePoint. And you have to be that. You've got to epitomize that trust, right? So get the merchandise, please. We don't make money out of the merchandise, I promise you. But these are tools. I come from a background of branding. These are powerful tools that you can use very easily just to get people to trust you more when you engage with them. And then you'll find this on Facebook. So you can't really see what it says. Maybe you can. But on Facebook, go look through our photos. You'll see this image. This is a list of what separates us from other businesses. Because every person you go speak to has been spoken to before. They've heard it before. If you use the same language that every other business opportunity in the country uses, then you have failed at separating or making DuePoint distinctive, right? These points make DuePoint distinctive because not many businesses can claim what we're able to offer wealth engineers in the business. So go look at this. Let this become part of your story. Say, guys, there's no selling involved. All you have to do is introduce people to DuePoint. That head office, they do everything for you. They produce the systems, the app, the training. It's all for nothing, right? You get to create annuity-based income. This is a business that's been around for 70 years. They're audited, regulated, listed. How many businesses can claim that? Be aware of these unique selling points of DuePoint, right? And again, it'll help you in your story. And that's it, folks. Any final questions? Guys, you're good. I'm glad you're good. Then I did my job. Go speak to people. Good luck.